Okay. Thank you. All right, now it is 5:02. It's still 5:02. We're going to go ahead and get started with the Finance and Audit Committee meeting. I'm going to call roll. Tita Cantu, Vela, here. Karina Elizondo, apparently she's
Not here.
not here yet. She's on her way. The train is both.
Well, ma'am, it's because we can't hear you, and then it doesn't come out on.
Both? Okay. Mercurio Martinez is out. And Adriana Alexander.
Present.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with number 3, the presentation of the July 2026 financial report. Cesar Vela.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the Finance and Audit Committee, Dr. Ramirez, Cesar Vela, VP of Finance and Administration for the record. Included in your board package, you received a copy of the July 2026 monthly financial report. And I'll start the update by going over the general operating revenues. Through July, general operating revenues are approximately 88.7 million compared to the budgeted amount of 86.6 million. This represents approximately 102.5% of our budgeted revenues. State funding totals approximately 18 million. We do have a balance of 5.6 million that will be recorded in August. This 18 million is approximately 76.3% of the annual budget for state funding. Tuition and fee revenue net of the applicable transfer for the payment of the revenue bond totaled approximately 18.5 million, which represents 121.6% of the budget. Tax revenues continue to perform well. The net local tax revenues reflect in the general operating fund are approximately 47.8 million, essentially 100% of the budgeted amount. And again, this is reflecting net of the transfer for the payment of the maintenance tax notes. Interest income also continues to exceed our original projections with approximately 3.4 million, which is recognized year to date. Again, this reflects the college's strong cash position as well as the favorable interest rates that we are currently seeing. Overall, revenue performance remains strong as we approach the end of the fiscal year. For general operating expenses as of July 31st, 2026, total approximately 69 million. That represents 79.7% of the 86.6 operating budget. Our largest expenditure category continues to be salaries at approximately 36.8 million, followed by the French benefits at approximately 8.7 million. Equipment expenditures for the year total 6.1 million. Contracted services 10.8 million. We do have a total of approximately 3.7 million still encumbered for the final month of operations. And when we take that into account, we have approximately 13.8 million available still in the budget. As far as other funds, for the Global Logistics Center, we have revenues of 141,164, expenditures of 73,925 for right now a net increase to the fund balance of 67,239. As far as auxiliary services, revenues total 1,658,000. Expenditures for the year total 1,653,000 for a net increase to the fund balance of 5,251 for the year. And for the state and federal funds, we have total revenues and expenses of 35.6 million for the year. As far as the tax collections, as of July 31st, we've collected 98.55% of the tax levy. for a total of 49,888,281. Compared to fiscal year 2025, we were at 98.24%, and in 2024, we were at 97.79%. So again, another strong year when it comes to tax collections. We hit at the target, which was 98% collection rate for the year. We do still have the month of August to report, and that will be once we close out the fiscal year. Investments, as of June 30th, 2026, we had a total investments and deposits of 178,401,701. Out of that 178, 106 are in bank deposits. We have approximately 22 million in the investment pools and another 49 million in certificates of deposit. And you can see there from on the screen the different yields, currently yielding from 2.74% all the way up to 4.14%. And the last item on the financial update is just a quick update on the fund balance. We began the fiscal year with a fund balance of 38 million. We have a total of 88.6 million in operating revenue. Expenditures for the year total 68,962,000. We do have the transfer that was made to cover deferred maintenance projects, and that totaled 18.1 million. So we have a net change or increase to the fund balance of 1,551,047, and this is through July 31st, 2026. So currently we have a fund balance of 39.5 million for the year. And that concludes the update. Any questions on any of the items?
I think we're doing really well.
Yes, we are again
Excellent.
having
I mean,
another
it's
strong
amazing.
year.
We're very financially
Yes.
strong.
Yes.
So
So
this is-
it's
I congratulate you.
yes,
I
no,
really
it's
do.
a team effort, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
It's been a
It-
great
I
year for the
understand.
institution. Again, we are gonna finish the year strong again
Very
when it comes to
strong.
the finances, and as you saw, liquidity wise, we have over 100 million in investments. And we have a fund balance of 39 million. So
That's amazing.
that's more than the 20% that we are required to
Yeah.
maintain in the fund balance.
Right.
So
Exactly. Thank you.
thank you.
Any comments, any questions?
I do.
We are.
I do.
I'm compared to others
Ms.
around
Vela.
here.
Mr. Vela,
Yes, ma'am.
will you, on that fund balance, how many months of salaries and expenses do we have right now? And what is required of the state for us to have in the hopper?
So right now we're required to have 20%, which it's about between 3 to 4 months of operations. Right now, 39 million would put us at about 45% right now. So again, we are way over
Way
that
over.
20% right now.
We're way over. Very good. Any other questions, comments? All right, let's go ahead and go on to the next one. Discuss the approval of the annual subscription for the library series, Dynex Enterprise System. Cesar Vela?
Yes, board members, this next item is to request approval for the annual maintenance renewal and subscription services for the library's Cersei Dynex Symphony software in the amount of $134,397.48. This software serves as the core library management system that supports both the Erie and Safarini libraries. The renewal covers the period from September 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2027, and provides continual access to services that support acquisitions and fund accounting, circulation, serials management, bibliographic and inventory control, electronic resources, web services, and the enterprise platform. Again, these are services that are essential to the libraries' libraries' day-to-day operations. The total amount of 134,397 is currently included in the fiscal year 2027 budget under maintenance agreement line item for the library.
Very good. And again, this is a renewal.
That is correct,
Yeah.
yes.
Any questions? All right, then let's go into number 5. Discuss the approval of an online subscription service for the Yeri and Zaffarini libraries. Cesar Vela?
Yes, this next item is to request approval for the acquisition of serials and periodicals from EBSCO Information Services in the amount not to exceed 181,500. EBSCO provides the Yeri and Zaffarini libraries with research resources and subscription services that support students, faculty, staff, and the college's academic programs and curriculum. The services include academic research databases across multiple disciplines, ebooks, digital magazines, print and online academic journals, off-campus authentication, usage and analytics, and access and discovery services. Again, the amount is not to exceed 181,500, the amount is included in the fiscal year 2027 library services budget. Again, this is also a renewal.
Any questions? All right, let's go on to number 6. Discuss the approval of the insurance premium renewals for the academic year 2026 to 2027.
Good evening, members of the board. Dr. Ramirez David Arezola, Vice President of Student Success and Compliance for the record. Every year, as budget approval approaches, we present basically the risk management program for the college. I have our risk management team here as well in case there are any questions. But this is the comprehensive coverage that we have for the institution. We have several carriers from USI, who provides property insurance, general liability, the school leaders liability, and so on. A TASB risk management fund for our automobile liability and workman's compensation. We have student health, healthcare student professional liability. We have student accident insurance. We also have museum coverage, which protects our fine arts, especially during exhibits and so on, and also event liability. So overall, this is what it looks like from last year's premiums to this year's premiums. If you notice, so there's some good changes and some bad changes. So our property insurance for the second year in a row has it's gone down. And that can be attributed pretty significantly due to the work that Mr. Vela and his team and physical plant have been doing to repair all the roofs and so on and so forth. So those projects are being proactive about fixing the roofs or maintaining the roofs has made our premium come down quite a bit. General liability, there's some slight increases there. School leaders liability, and so on. Crime has also, because of our efforts in working with law enforcement, we have been able to bring down our premium for crime insurance. But student insurance, that always goes up depending on our enrollment. Our workman's comp insurance did increase a little bit just because of the activity that we're having in that area, but almost everything else stayed the same. So overall, not a major change, not a major impact to the budget from last year's premiums to this year's premiums. Only a 3% increase in total premiums for all our insurance.
That's not bad.
Dr. Alonso, there was no changes in terms of vendors or anything, right? Everything remains the
It
same.
remains,
Because
yeah.
We just went over this last time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so-
They're all renewals.
They're all
Great,
renewed.
Thank you so much.
All right, any questions from anybody else? Y'all have questions?
I have a quick comment, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Mr.
Uh,
Rangel.
I was talking to Dr. Ramirez, and just for the record, the reason, because I mean, you think about it, pretty much the biggest tag is the property. And I guess this just shows that what our staff and the board is actually doing when we're putting that money aside for the deferred maintenance, being that we're repairing roofs, we're repairing ACs, all that, you know, that's one of the biggest reasons why it went down so much, because, you know, we've been actively putting money to the deferred maintenance,
That's right.
and it's been helping our insurance to go down
go down.
because the roofs are a lot in better shape. They're newer.
Good
The
point.
ACs are newer. So just for the record, I think, you know, that's something good for the board to notice, that we've been putting money
Yeah.
aside and now we're seeing the savings. So that's good.
That's a really good point.
And just to elaborate a little bit, they do come in at least once a year and review all the projects that the team is working on, plus what they've already completed, and adjust their premium accordingly. So the fact that it's been going down means it's a good thing for us.
Good job, Dr. Rasola. To you and your team, good job.
Excellent. Well, don't leave. You're next. All right, number 7, presentation of the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Compliance Monitoring Review of the Texas Educational Opportunity Grant. Dr. Arizola, Jessica Trevino, and Steve Aguilar. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. Dr. Ramirez again, David Arazola, Vice President of Student Success and Compliance, for the record. Last September, we were notified by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board that we were selected at random. This is not a triggered audit, but we were selected at random for a desk review. And we were notified that they would let us know when they were going to start. And they gave us a list of things that they were going to be reviewing. We didn't hear from them again until earlier this summer. And at that time, they asked for a documentation, and you know, I'll let the team tell you the rest of the story.
Good afternoon, Jessica Trevino, AVP of Enrollment Management, for the record.
Steven Aguilar, Financial Aid Director, for the record.
So just flash forward to this summer, we did receive the audit visit. Well, he was supposed to be on campus. He couldn't make it to campus, so it became a virtual audit. And we did get asked for a lot of compliance documentation, including student records, so that they could be reviewed. And that way, they could analyze any and every of the dollars spent towards the TOG grant. I'm happy to report that year after year, we do spend up to the last dollar. We are left with zero in this very particular grant. That is all issued out to the students. And pretty much year after year, that account zeroes out. We are also happy to report that from the previous year to this year, this past fiscal year, we did receive almost a $600,000 increase from the last time. We were at 2.3 million. This is 2.9. That just shows that because we're expending all of the funding, they see the need for us to continue. And with that being said, I am happy to report that there were zero findings with the audit
Oh,
in
good.
everything that they asked.
See?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Rangel.
Thank you. Real quick, so whenever, like you said, Dr. Rasola, this is just out of a random, right? So, and then are the students selected out of random as well? Or did they select a certain students because of, you know, I don't know, age or gender or whatever? Or how were students selected?
So the selection is at random. The student obviously has to be a recipient of the TOG so that
Of course.
they are being audited in their
So
files.
do you send a list of all the students that currently?
They actually send
Oh, they
us
have
a
it.
list.
Okay.
And then we have to put their file together, and that's what gets submitted via their secure portal.
Does the
And they
student
ask
have-
for everything and anything, their admissions application, their transcript that they submitted, their financial aid application, financial aid verification documents, tax returns if there's any, everything and everything and everything. That's why we continue, you've heard me before stress the importance of completing their admissions folder and their financial aid folder, because technically that's what they asked for a particular student. In addition to the student records, they did ask us, for instance, from the IT department, anybody who has access to modifying and posting a financial aid award, anybody who has access to viewing financial aid awards,
Oh, wow.
anybody pretty much who should have business in the financial aid award system, and those that shouldn't have business. And we're lucky to report that the
So
IT
then
part,
everything was great.
everything was good.
So, and you mentioned right now, Jessica, that we went up 600,000. What is the total?
2.9. $2,910,000 with $143.
2.9.
Yeah, 2.9.
million.
And you said that it went up 600,000. Is it always around, what was it, around like 2 million always, the amount is?
2.3. Yeah, 2.3. 2,335 with
Wow.
$115.
And just for the record, we use it all.
We use it all. $0
job.
are left at the end.
That's cool. All
And
right,
it all
thank you.
goes to students, and every student gets a fixed amount, $4,268 per year.
How much? 4,000 what?
$4,268 per year,
Wow.
or $2,134 per semester.
Okay. That's really good.
Ms. Elizondo.
Good afternoon. Mr. Aguilar, we were at convocation this morning, and I just wanted to personally congratulate you for everything that you have done. Your department has been absolutely amazing. I have gotten, well, most of the departments, but I wanted to also emphasize on financial aid, one of the most important departments within our institution, and I just want to congratulate you and your staff. I mean, this audit and the results, I know it's an amalgamation of different efforts, but financial aid by no means is one of the most important. And I have gotten so many compliments, and I wanted to say that during convocation, but obviously we're not allowed to leave. Forget it, we'll make it longer. But I just want to say thank you so much, and just want to give you your respect.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo, and it's a team effort, a team effort from the enrollment management team to financial aid, everybody getting together, making it happen for our students. So thank you so much.
And on that note, I do want to also say that to Mr. Steven Aguilar, like I have also gotten a lot of calls that people call us that my son's having this, so I talked to Dr. Ramirez, and I always get a call from either the student or the parent telling me, "Oh, they did a lot, they helped us a lot," and it's always very good compliments on the financial aid, and that is very true. I always get really good compliments from your department. Congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you, Mr. Rangel. Thank you.
I just
Can
want to
you,
comment.
Stephen, can you tell us a little bit about how you award this money and how the system awards the money and to who?
Okay, so first of all, the TEOG, the Texas Educational Opportunity Grant, is a grant for those students that have the most need. So it's a state grant. Aside from the Pell Grant, which is a federal grant for people that have the most need, this grant gives additional monies for those students to pay for their educational expenses, tuition and fees, books, supplies, whatever it is. We award this money. We have what is called the TEOG initial for those students, FTICs that just come out from high school. And then we have a TEOG renewal, which we give to our current students that meet the requirements, which is they have to meet the SAP requirement, which is what they checked in the audit. The audit, we have to make sure that they are passing it in a 2.0 GPA and completing 60% of their classes. So that is the way that we look at awarding. Now, the student applies for financial aid. The department of the coordinating board asks for us to look at their applications. So if you apply, and that's what we encourage every student, apply within October and December, because if you do, those are the first ones that are going to get awarded. We look at the first come, first serve, because as you noticed, it went from 2.3 to 2.9, but that money goes fast. Electronically, of course, everything.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's done electronically. We don't
Yes.
have people in the office that are checking application by application, okay?
All of this is set up in the banner system, so it's automatically awarded to the student. If we put in all the criteria, and the system automatically awards it to those students.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions? Any other comments? No? That's it. We're done. You got here just in time. Which one?
Number 8, discussion.
Oh, I thought that's what we were doing. All right. Let's see, number 8, I'm sorry. Discuss the approval of a budget cash matching fund requirement or required for grant application for the Rio South Texas Education Community Development Foundation to be submitted on behalf of Laredo College by the Grants Department to benefit the Bachelor's of Applied Science in Organizational Leadership program and students.
Good
Mrs.
afternoon.
Ortiz.
Good afternoon, Finance and Audit Committee, Chairman Rangel, President Ramirez, and of course, administration and staff. Dr. Diana Ortiz, Vice President of Institutional Advancement, along with.
Gabriel Lozano, Director of Grants.
So today we come before you asking for the approval of a cash match required for this grant application that we have benefited from for 3 years now. For 3 years, we've been working with, the grants team has been working with the Rio South Texas Education and Community Development Foundation and the workforce development teams, as well as the continuing education teams, have benefited from monies for skills development. This year, Mr. Gabriel Lozano has been visiting with Marisa Guerrero to work on a project for the BAS-org students in order to benefit them, the program, the skills development, and I'll let him tell you a little bit more. But the application that we are going to be submitting, the grant period is from January 1st, 2027 to December 31st, 2027. And we're asking a cash match of $250,000. I'll let Mr. Lozano tell you the details about the match.
Yeah, so for clarification purposes, this grant would be the 4th iteration of the program. We had, like Dr. Ortiz mentioned, we had used other sources to match this grant in the past. And last year we were not successful due to this issue. So we are going to clarify from the beginning that our match will be cash and ensure them through a letter of commitment that these funds that we're matching are going to be going to the program and doing the same thing that their funds are doing. So their rule is that the match has to be dollar for what the grant's going to be. So the grant we're going to request is $250,000, and we're requesting a match of $250,000 from college funds, which already have been identified. And I believe, I don't know the name of the account, Mr. Vela, restricted scholarship, I think.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
we have an account that's set up for matching purposes, which is an unallocated account.
Yeah. So the biggest benefit, I guess you could say, is that this is going to help the BAS-org program expand probably way farther than it would have, in the sense that they're going to be able to give out more scholarships. They're going to be able to take more students to their study abroad. They're going to be able to have a bigger impact.
Right.
So Technology's in there. I can provide y'all with a list of the budgets. So that would be, and we emphasize that this is a 1-year grant and it's only 12 months to spend it, but apparently that's the plan and it's going to be done within the
Within
time
the year.
period.
And this is the fourth year that we do this.
Well, we had this grant awarded for another program
Another
in the
program.
past, continuing education, workforce, job preparation, skills preparation. And so we're pivoting this year to help the BASORG because it's a program that they have their activities and their expenses, and so we're going to try
Right.
to, we're going to try to match that grant, and if it's awarded, the total impact will be, of course, the $500,000 for the program.
Any questions? Any comments? I think anything that helps our students is a win-win for us.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any issues. Ms. Elizondo?
I just wanted to say congratulations. I know you were one of the recipients
Oh, thank
of
you.
the award.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
You and your
I apologize,
colleagues.
I wasn't there. I was with
You were working.
we had
Yeah,
a
that's
visitor
right.
from a
That's
foundation
right.
that were
Okay.
trying to get
were-
we applied for a grant and they
That's
wanted to
right.
see, they wanted to see the building that we're asking them to help rehabilitate, so
That's right,
we're
you
doing
weren't
that,
there.
but I
They
appreciate it.
told
Thank
us
you.
where you were. Don't worry.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Any comments, questions, anything? Well, that ends it. And my
Thank you.
friend is here, just at the right time. All right, I guess the meeting is adjourned at 5:34. 5-minute break? That's fine. Hi. We're ready.
This meeting of the Program and Policy Committee meeting is called to order. It's Monday, August the 17th, 2026. We have finished with the Finance Committee meeting, and we will begin. It is 5:41. I'm going to call roll. Jackie Levin Ramos, present. Erica Benavides Garcia, absent. Lizzie Newsom. Ernestina Tita Cantuvela.
Present.
I'd like to acknowledge the following individuals who are joining us today. Mr. Esteban Rangel, Chair. Adriana Alexander. Thank you. Thank you for being here and for the administration also as well. This afternoon, we are meeting to discuss several items that regarding the Program and Policy Committee meeting. Number 3, discuss the approval of the proposed amendments to Laredo College Board Policy BBD, Local Board Members Orientation and Training, to add the Association of Governing Boards, AGB, board member training modules and lessons to the list of authorized orientation and training content topics. This is coming off of the last meeting that we had, and you have the items there. It's 2 flyers. It's a program overview. I spoke to, or we spoke to the individual who was representing AGB, and they mentioned that this type of programming would take about 3 hours if you did them all at the same time. But the question for today's committee, or those of you that are present, is to either put the modules as a, escapes my word right now, I lost it, I was on a roll. To put them at mandatory, or to allow them to be placed under the policy so that we could have them as references. So I would like to call on Ms. Newsom, because I feel like as a new board member, you can give us some input. Would it be something that that would help if we were to place this as a mandatory item? Or would it be something that if we were to place it under the policy, would it be something that you would take advantage of? Or would it be an opportunity to discover new topics and themes?
What, which part? It's on, it's on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Is that-
It's, I can't see from your, like, that's why I'm looking
Yeah.
at hers, but it's specifically, like, can you make it a little more specific? Or-
Yeah, well, it deals with the governance in higher education, but it deals with different types. There's governance in higher education, there's fiduciary duties, There's also responsibilities of governing boards and the board dynamics. And each one has different lessons. These are all take as you go, bless you. Take as you go, or get them, whatever you like. You would go down the list and you would say, well, you know what, I need more help on the governance and higher education. Would you, as a new board member, would you be able to say, I can pick and choose, and then you get a certificate at the very end? So would it be beneficial? And I would pose the same question to Ms. Alexander, because both of you came in at the same time. So
Yes, I think this would be beneficial to us, right? Because
Mhm.
we're newer, and to everybody, really, as refreshers even are always good.
right. Mhm.
But I have a question. Would this cost to?
No.
No? Oh,
We're already paying
then-
AGB.
Then
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
paying AGB, and the AGB has the resources available.
Yeah.
We would probably provide a further detailed available resources that AGB can provide to us. And so this in particular deals with board members and how they can keep up the professional
I
development.
think that's great. I
Okay.
think that's a great thing. Absolutely.
So we want to bring it to the board. Mr. Rangel, I'll get to you in a bit. I want to bring it to the board to decide. My opinion is that we place it under the policy, but not as a mandatory item that you have to complete within a certain amount of time. We do have others that are mandated by the state. Those we must complete on a yearly basis. But I would say that working with Mr. Muir, we could put it in the agenda. The motion would read that they would place it into the policy section, but it is at the discretion of the board members. So if you feel like you need a little bit more help with board policies and operations, well, then, this is the place where you can go and you can get that information from there. Mr. Rangel?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Ramos. I agree with you. I think, and I agree with Ms. Newsom también, I mean, it's not just for new board members, but I think for everybody, and this could even help you at your job. I think it is a good thing. I know that we did that Zoom quick thing with that young lady. I really enjoyed everything that they have to being able to help us govern the body a lot better. I do agree with you on making it optional, just because we do have situations that I mean, especially because I'm just thinking about like when we submit the application for SACs that we have all the trainings, and I think it's important that it's going to say optional, just in case if we send it off, it's not going to look bad for our application whenever we submit for review, and they're going to be able to see they comply with the ones that are mandatory by the state, but the ones that are optional, out of the 9, maybe 5 of them just did it. So I do agree with you on that. The only thing, and this is up to you as a chair, I think that because I know this one has travel, that you could go to conferences or whatever. I do think that it's important to, if you are going to travel, you have to comply by doing those 3 hours. Because, and the reason for that, and this is just me thinking, because if you're going to go and you're going to sit and be at the conference, and sometimes you have working stations, I think it's important that you know about the system and what it does, but then also your institution and how you're integrating it.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that if Esteban is going to go to that trip, I have to comply before the 3 hours.
Which is all of the lessons.
Yeah. That way, if Esteban goes, I can be able to know what they're referring to whenever it comes to the AGB. And then also, your institution and how you're integrating both of them, so you could be able to help, and that way you could have interaction with other people. That's just me. Again, it's going to be your item, but I just think that we should consider that.
So it would be comply with the lessons on the AGB lessons prior to attending a conference for AGB.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's my recommendation. But
Okay. Any comments from anybody else? No? I mean, this serves as a continuous professional development for our board members. There is other resources available under the AGB, and as a committee chair, I would recommend that we all look into the AGB, and find out if there's other things that could benefit you in different ways. And if you need a username and password, Ms. Bocanegra, I think they have already sent the information to everybody, right? Yeah. So just make sure that you sign up for it and that you log in so that you can have access to it right now. So right now, you already have access to it. So it's already available for you, okay? I know we were looking for some different professional developments. These are some of them. I do plan to bring others. There's a couple of other ones that I want to bring to the committee, and one of them relates to the Robert's Rules of Order. So, but that will be in my next committee meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with the next item, and we're going to leave it as an optional item to be placed on the policy as an available resource to all board members. And then also with a caveat that you have to comply with doing the lessons prior to attending any AGB conference. And the conference is in February, and we've already adopted that as part of our policy for that. Okay. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, a quick question. So are we talking about, I mean, I haven't attended any out-of-town trainings, but I'm asking for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So would this be from the lessons that you all were showing right now?
Yeah, the ones that are available.
What is it, 3 lessons?
No, it's
I
a
don't
total of, it's 3 hours, but it's a total of, each one of them is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So like 20-minute maybe presentations or something like that.
There's 16 lessons, but you finish them in 3 hours.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're different. There are 4 modules, right? And each module, like module number 1, governance and higher education, has 4 lessons. And then module number 2 has 2 lessons. But this does not apply to any other conference except the AGB. So then the module number 3 is responsibilities of governing boards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Module number 4, board dynamics, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I plan to do this soon. Like I plan to do this within the week or maybe 2 weeks so that I can complete it before, let's say, the next committee meeting. And so if I see that it takes too long, I'll come back and alter that caveat that we set out forth. Because right now, it was told to us that it was 3 hours to complete all of the modules, right? I was just waiting for this meeting to happen so that I can start with my first lesson and I can take down my notes and figure out how much. Each lesson gives you a certificate for your record of professional development. So if you say, I already completed some of these and I already did all of these, I personally think that if anything, this complying with the AGB lessons would be something that we would bring to the rest of the board. And if they feel that everybody is in agreement, then we'll place it on the policy. But if it's something that is going to be too difficult, then we'll pull it back out, afterwards.
I don't think 3 hours, right?
No.
And you do them, I'm assuming at your
But it's a
pace.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
But
How many of us can
like Ms.
sit-
Newsom said, it's at your pace. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have 45 minutes, maybe you
Yeah.
could get 1 or 2 out.
Right, I mean, if you could sit there for 3 hours, great.
Yeah.
But that's what I was about to.
I don't
before,
see that.
No,
Yeah.
no disrespect, Ms. Vela, but I was about to say at your own pace,
Yeah.
right? So you don't have to sit there the whole 3
Yeah,
hours,
no.
right? Okay, so, I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's great, right? But if we're not going to make it mandatory on the.
On the
So
policy?
it's kind of like.
It's
those
kinda like
things
yes and
kinda
no.
Contradict themselves.
Yeah.
And so we'd have to write another part or into the
Yeah.
policy, but only for this, So to me, I don't know if there's just, like Mr. Rangel's idea, if you're going to travel, I mean, if we're doing it for AGB, my question, right? Then why are we doing it for everything else? Like, why just this one? And then it would contradict with the fact that we're taking the word mandatory out of here's these and they're great. Like, I'm going to do them, right? But
And the other
we're not
thing,
forcing everybody.
well, no, and I understand. The other thing is that like ACCT, which is our other organization, we go to the conferences, but they don't have
They
these
don't, yeah.
types of resources
I
available.
I was about to tell you, not all the conferences require for you to take.
Right,
So I think this is probably going to be the only one, no?
Probably. Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
going to have that.
But it was really not a requirement. It's more of
professional reference resource available for anybody who wants to do the lessons. You can still go to the conference, but again, it's governed, our governance can dictate that, or it cannot. Personally, I would like to place it where it's gonna be optional for right now. Then I'd like to take all of the lessons and figure out if it's something that's beneficial. As the chair, I can come back and make that recommendation and say, you know what? Mr. Rangel is right. I think we should make it a requirement before you go to the conference. Or no, it should just be done at the discretion of you. You wanna do it? I mean, I've been in the board for 12 years already, and I was so interested in governance and higher education and how it develops and the fiduciary. So those are some of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to pick and choose, but I think I want to take all of them so that I can, for me, it's about continuous learning process for me. So, but definitely I will take that into account. So I will say that I'm gonna propose for the item that we've discussed to be optional, to be placed on the policy as an available resource to all board members. And then once I come back and finish my lessons, then I will make another recommendation. And if not, I don't come back with any recommendations.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
one of the recommendations to the full board, if when you decide to do that, I think it's important that you tell them that the certificates be emailed to Ms. Bocanegra, so that way she can have it on file for our own records. I think it's important.
Upon completion?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Certificates emailed upon completion to Ms. Bocanegra.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yes, okay. Item number 4, discuss the TASB Board Policy Update 51, review updated legal policies and act on local policies. Dr. David Arrezola, it's a BBC local board members vacancies and removal from office. We're adding an action. BGC local administrative organization councils and faculty senates, we're making an action to replace an item. CS local information security, replace an item. FB local admissions, replace an item. FDA local tuition and fees residency, replace an item. Dr. Arrezola?
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Ramirez. David Arrezola, Vice President of Student Success and Compliance, for the record. TASB updates the policy manual about twice a year. They usually do one in the winter, one in the summer. This summer, because there was no legislative session, it's low on the updates, but there were 5 local policy updates that they're sending forth. The first one is BBC local. That's a new policy. It didn't exist before, and it's has to do with establishing a process for filling a vacancy or in an at-large position on the board, right? So there's a list of things that TASB has put forth, including, I'll just run over a couple of highlights there. The board may fill a vacancy by appointment or by special election as permitted by law. The vacancy must generally be filled within 180 days, but no later than the next regular board election date. If using an appointment, the board must post a public call for applications on the college website. The notice must identify eligibility requirements, application requirements, and the board is going to review the applications and interview selected applicants. That's if they're doing it by appointment. So that process of filling either filling a vacancy on the board, that policy didn't exist before, and now TASB has put out a local policy for that. That is probably the most significant change in this set of policy updates. The rest of the changes are changes to phrases, a couple of clarifications, and so on. So BGC local, for example, all it does is clarify that when the president selects or appoints a faculty member to the faculty council, that they must come from the division that they're going to represent, right? Again, this policy has been around for about a year. They needed to clarify that little section there. Same thing goes with CS local. CS local, it removes a requirement that has become outdated. We used to have to submit a biennial information security assessment to DIR, and some of those requirements have been changed, or deleted. So this policy now reflects the new practice. FB local is the academic fresh start policy. And all it does is a clarification there that any courses and grades disregarded under the academic first start may not be used later to award course credit. So basically, the academic first start is an all or nothing thing, right? So if you choose to do an academic first start as a student, then you cannot pick and choose which classes to bring forth. You start with a clean slate or you don't.
Is that a new one, or it's,
There's a little clarification on the courses that they can use.
okay,
So again, it makes it an all or nothing. When you do an academic first start, you're basically erasing your transcript from 10 years back, right? But what this policy now says is that you cannot, once you erase them, you cannot then use them to get credit or even use it as a prerequisite for another course or anything like that. Again, it's a clean slate.
okay.
And I think that might be last one, FDA local. Again, just a little, there's one word change in that policy. It's adding the word status to the residence status determination official. So policy used to say residence determination official. Now it says resident status.
Okay.
It's just that one word that was added to the policy. And that's it. Again, no legislative session means an easy policy update, and we probably won't be able to say that next time.
Next year.
We are adding the legal ones, right?
The legal, I think they're already
They
there.
just,
Yeah.
okay.
The legal, we have to.
Yes, they're already
The
there.
local
These
is-
are the local ones. Okay. Is that,
The local is the, yeah,
okay, yes.
no.
No, I know. Mm-mm. Okay, we're good?
Next one.
Okay, let me take a moment to recognize Judge Martinez in attendance, sir. Thank you for joining us. Number 5, discuss the approval of modifications to Laredo College Board Policy DMB Local, termination of employment tenure, Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina. Thank you, Dr. Arezola.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Ramirez, colleagues. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. I'm here as a follow-up. In April's board meeting, we presented DMB and DCB, but I mentioned that we would come back because we needed to add within our policies what to do with tenured employees who are no longer faculty, who are playing a role as a faculty member. Please note that all of these are due to Senate Bill 18, changes that had to be adopted in 2023. Then in 2024, THCB made some clarifications, and now there's explicit language on certain education codes. And so if you look at DMB, I believe it's in the packet. So this policy was always titled termination of employment for tenure. But if you notice in the introduction, there are going to be two processes to follow, one for a tenured faculty versus a non-tenured, a tenured non-faculty individual. Now, when you look at what's applicable to tenured faculty on page 1, that is strictly coming literally from Senate Bill 18. If you look at page 2, the suspension or dismissal of the faculty during contract period, tenure faculty, or tenured non-faculty employees, this is pretty much everybody, right? So non-faculty don't have to adhere to Senate Bill 18, but we did put what are the causes in other words to remove somebody who has tenure but may not be serving in a faculty position. So there was some things that were already there, but we added some more to kind of coincide with Senate Bill 18, particularly with the performance and the evaluations, especially if they don't meet the things that are outlined in an improvement plan. And then, most importantly, what are the processes when, what are the procedures when we dismiss a faculty or a tenured faculty? If you look on page 3, this policy was already there, but we had removed it due to some things that we were still trying to understand with Senate Bill 18. And so now knowing Senate Bill 18 a little bit better, or through legal advice, we brought back that any time that any faculty or tenured faculty wants to appeal the post-dismissal appeal process, they go through a formal hearing. And that hearing, as mentioned here, they would I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. So they would have to file a written request appealing the summary dismissal with the office of the college president within 10 days of the date that the faculty member received the written decision. Upon receipt of a timely request, the college president shall appoint a hearing committee composed of 5 faculty members, 2 of which need to be tenured. And so that's very important when we undergo a hearing like this. Of course, the committee member must not have any conflicts or biases towards that matter. And then the hearing is met. The chair of the committee will also basically run, the best way to explain a hearing, it's like going through court, right? You need a court reporter, the legal representations are there. And so it's taken very seriously. I think the last hearing that I was a part of, it ran from 7:30 in the morning till probably 10 p.m. on that day. And so that, before Dr. Ramirez time, for the record. But anyhow, so it's best suggested that a hearing not be ran by board members, right? Because you want to stay away and basically be the final process to a hearing, right? Let the hearing take place with a committee that was already established before then. And so that whole part, as mentioned before, it already had existed in the previous changes before we thought things had to change due to Senate Bill 18, but it doesn't, so we're just going to leave it the way that it was. But I will say, when you look on page 5, what we needed to add, because we didn't have before, is what is the procedure to dismiss tenured employees who are not faculty, who are not serving in the faculty role, right? So a lot of administrators, counselors, maybe librarians, who under Senate Bill 18, remember, they no longer qualified to be part of the faculty ranks. Or so this process would basically, we would follow this particular dismissal process for those who have, again, tenure but are not serving in the faculty role.
Mr. Rangel?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Tijerina, how many employees do we have on tenure right now?
I think when we did the analysis, we have about 10 to 12. I can send the
That's fine,
president's
just
office
más o-
the exact
How
number.
many of them are affected by SB 18? That
Everybody.
did,
Yeah,
Everybody,
everybody
all of
who,
everybody,
who
yes.
got tenured in the past.
no,
What we
but what I
learned,
mean is that are non-faculty, that are staff or like administration,
about 10
10 of them. Okay,
that were left,
okay, and just for the record,
me including.
you
included in
included,
that.
you're also gonna get your
Yeah. Dr.
SB
Arrezola,
18 también
Dr.
affected you.
Hernandez.
So,
We're
All of it?
probably in the room, to be honest.
oh, wow. So a lot of you that are here have tenure.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
but they
Well,
got tenure for their
For the academic, yes.
their teaching, not their administrative role.
So a tenured faculty member, what do they have to do to comply to continue being tenured?
So that's a very good question. So under Senate Bill 18, of course, they have to adhere to their roles and responsibilities, their evaluation processes. But in addition, now it's mandated by law that they have to go through a post-tenure process. And we've been doing that post-tenure. We're on our third cohort. And
Okay,
I will say that this year's cohort, they're all 100% faculty.
Wow.
That have to resubmit a portfolio, have to upload the information as far as what they've done. In 2024, we submitted or we presented the post-tenure guidelines. And in there, we do trainings. We already trained them in the spring semester. They've been working on their portfolios because the review begins. They have to submit their portfolios by October 1st. And then the review happens.
so it's a very lengthy process.
Yes.
So the tenured employees that are not faculty, they're not complying by doing that.
So this
That's
is
the
why I'm
kicker.
presenting DCB.
Okay,
Because we needed to get more clarification, but now that we know under legal advice that Senate Bill 18 and that post-tenure is strictly for faculty.
so then that way, like you said yourself, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to let go of your tenure because of the SB 18 that doesn't pretty much allow you to.
Right, because she's not.
The thing is that we learn, and Rusty, you can never take away tenure from
Yeah,
an
I know you-
individual that you already gave tenure. You
Yeah,
can't
like
give away the
if you
tenure
go back to
rights.
what you were tenured 10, 15, 20 years ago, you'll go back to tenured, right?
I still have
Technically.
tenured as a biology
That's fine.
instructor. I don't have tenure
As
as
a-
a provost.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. If tomorrow you decide to go back to a bio professor,
Right,
your tenure kicks back in.
correct.
Assuming
Yeah, but it has to be
assuming that
that
she does the
subject.
post-tenure review.
Yes, of course, as if she complies.
Within a year, because I
Okay.
believe
So-
under DCB, anybody transitioning from an administrative role
Back to-
back to faculty, you can't wait the 6 years. You
Got it.
You have to do it that
have to
next
do it
year.
Okay,
immediately.
okay.
So
Got it,
if
got
I
it.
come back to teach,
No,
do I get
No.
my tenure back?
no, you lost it.
N-
No, you don't.
No, because as of September 1st, 2023, we no longer offer
That's
tenure
right, we
track
don't offer
positions.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
We don't.
Okay.
Mhm.
I just wanted to know, I just wanted
Under
to
the
know.
law, like,
Under the law, we
under the
don't
law.
offer tenure anymore.
Right.
I mean, I'm just asking because
since
if
it's
for whatever
expired.
reason we get called by
Yeah,
a
but
staff
since you
member
left,
that is going to be
retired.
losing their tenure,
It went.
it's not something that we're just deciding to do. It's just
No.
because of SB 18, there won't be able to comply.
Correct.
I mean, that's correct, but you lose your employment due to the violations of the policies. I mean,
Not
of course,
because of your
tenure
tenure.
comes with you. What tenure does, it
So it goes
changes
dormant.
the hearing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
You go
process.
through the process, you have a dismissal and then a post-dismissal process. That's what tenure does versus an at-will employee that can, I mean, I can't say immediately,
Yeah.
but there's no thorough processes of terminating
Yeah, got it.
The due process is different for a tenured faculty member
Compared
and a non-tenured employee.
Yeah, I got it. All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Muir.
Yes, Rusty Muir, Laredo College Attorney for the record. So this particular policy does have due process procedures for tenured faculty and tenured employees who are not faculty members. My understanding is there are very few of those. But as Dr. Ramirez mentioned a minute ago, you can have a faculty member that is on a contract, and there's different ways that you can end that employment relationship and avoid a due process hearing. But with tenure, it's a property right. Tenure under the policies is a continued expectation of employment that can't be interrupted unless there's good cause to do it. And if there is good cause, you've got to follow this due process procedure. Yeah, that's the essence of it. And
It's protection.
it's protection, right? And really, one of the top 2 or 3 changes that this policy does is set out a process that wasn't there before in clear terms for non-faculty tenured employees, the termination of those employees.
Thank you, sir.
It was always there. We just didn't have the process outlined in
Yes.
policy to follow.
Right.
And that's what we needed. What is the process?
Right.
And now the process is in policy. Well, if you accept it, it will be in
And
policy.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's case law that talks about the issue here, this due process issue. It's a constitutional right. So there's challenges that faculty members of institution of higher education have made. You see cases that go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Even if a board policy has ambiguity about a procedure to terminate, as long as you follow due process, you give the employee the due process that it's required, you will be okay. And due process, it's just notify them in sufficient detail of the grounds for termination so that they can have an opportunity to prepare and defend themselves. And then you have to have a hearing. You have to let them cross-examine witnesses. It's really the essence of it. But that gets messed up along the way in certain cases. But I think these changes are very clear.
I also, if I may,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. I also think that the evaluation process for employees is different. Faculty members get evaluated 5 times a year.
They're supposed to.
Staff members get evaluated once a year. And their evaluation process is completely different because the work they do is completely different. So the due process for a faculty member has to be outlined and specific, and it should be of their peers. It shouldn't be anybody else. It should be they themselves governing themselves. And so I think that we owe it to them to make sure that the process we're offering them is very clear, very opportunistic, and follows due process for the faculty. And I think that's what the team that put this together, which is a group of faculty members, along with Dr. Tijerina and some of the deans, I think their idea was, how do we make this process work for tenured and non-tenured faculty? I mean, tenured faculty and employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including them.
Yeah.
But this is specifically for faculty, right?
It's
Their faculty.
specifically on how to remove an employee who has tenure. And so there's some employees that are faculty and they have the tenure. Now we have faculty that are also non-tenure, right? Because of the non-tenure track positions. But then we also have these other employees that were grandfathered when they were faculty, but they're no longer faculty. Yeah, so that's why there has to be 2 distinctive processes on elimination on termination rather, because as Dr. Ramirez said, it is incredibly lengthy how faculty gets evaluated. And so in fairness to their due process and to their profession, they do deserve that hearing, that strong due process. And that's what Senate Bill 18, they strongly advocate for the faculty member basically performing the teaching role.
Madam Chair.
Judge,
go
Judge
ahead, Chair.
Martinez?
Does tenure apply to administrative personnel? Does tenure apply to administrative personnel?
It can if they were formally granted tenure. So like myself, I came from the biology, right, department. I got tenured back in 2013 or 2012.
So you continue.
Right, I continue my
be
tenure.
A tenured employee?
No.
Even though you already are in administration?
So my tenure is tied to my faculty role, not my provost role.
Not her
I see.
administrative.
So this is more, like, that's what I was saying, the comment that I was making was it's really more for faculty. Because
Oh, yeah.
let's say this wouldn't apply to you right now, Dr. Tijerina, unless you went back to be a bio professor, correct? Like,
Well, this does apply to me in the section of the non-faculty procedure. So in other words, you still have to give the non-faculty tenured employment a due process, but not as, how can I say it, Rusty?
The process is different.
The process is different, right?
Yeah.
They're both still due processes, but with a faculty, it's going to be, if you
Lengthy.
saw the procedure, it's a lot more lengthy, which is legit, right? Because of what the duty that they perform.
So one group teaches and is tenured, and the other group doesn't teach and is tenured.
Right.
Right.
It
So-
should have never
so-
been.
So now, because of what happened throughout the years, there's been several changes. And so a lot of the things that we have to change on policy is because somebody else tells us that those changes are coming about. Now you're doing cohorts. You never did cohorts before. Everybody just, either you were tenured and faculty or non-faculty, and they were just all combined, right?
No.
And so now the process is separated for the two groups because there's a subgroup. First, you're tenured, and then you're faculty and non-faculty. And you're giving them two different processes for maybe letting them go? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
it's the due process when you
process,
terminate a tenured employee. So it's just distinguishing between the tenured faculty versus the tenured non-faculty employee.
Ms. Vela, you had a question.
Actually, it was just a comment. In the olden days when I was.
Your mic, please.
It's on, but I'm not close to it. Anyway, in the olden days when I was here, I could never understand how a librarian and a counselor were considered faculty and they got tenured. That's not the case anymore at
No.
all. In fact, nobody gets tenure anymore after
No.
we voted that out back
Back in 2023.
in 2023.
Yes.
There is a code, a Texas education code that is very specific on the definition of what a
Of what a
faculty means, that we adopted in April, that we adopted onto DCB. So when we get to it in the next item,
Okay.
the second paragraph is all about the code and the definition of what faculty. So that's a very good point, Ms. Vela, because that didn't exist
It
back
didn't.
then. That's the reason why we're here.
Yes.
Because of
Yeah.
Senate Bill 18 and also the lack of clarity, right? The next year in 2024, THCB came up with more definitions. Then later on, there was these codes that strictly defined what a faculty is intended to mean in the state of Texas.
Can you want to go to the next one so
Can I
that
have
maybe
one
there's a
last
little bit of
question?
clarity? Mr. Rangel?
Last question. Dr. Tijerina, because of what you're mentioning, that it's a huge process to keep your tenured.
Mhm.
Do we have any tenured employees that are saying, you know what, here, take it, yo no voy a hacer esto?
So that's
Because it's too
that's a
much.
very good question. We've had 3 faculty members
have
who
tenure
have
right now.
relinquished
Okay.
their tenure.
Because they don't want to deal
And that
with,
was on
with
them.
SB
Because they don't
18.
wanna
They put
do-
it in writing, and they have to relinquish it because if they don't, then they're required by law
To
to do this
comply.
post-tenure
Yeah.
guideline. And if they don't do the post-tenure guideline,
What
'cause
happened?
They can be fired.
they get terminated.
Oh.
Because like I said, on page 1, if you see failure, like number 6, failure to successfully complete any post-tenure review professional development program. So they get terminated. That's a law. That's not
That
what
wasn't us.
we're encouraging, right? That's a law under Senate Bill 18.
So, and again, what you're reporting is something that it's not you one come up with it. This is SB 18 coming down, telling us
Right.
this is what you need to comply.
So that's why it's best for the faculty member to relinquish their
it.
tenure rights, because if they don't do that and don't do the portfolio, the law basically is
Well.
saying to terminate
So those,
tenured
if I may,
faculty.
Yes,
I have one last comment, and I think it merits Dr. Tejerina explaining. When Senate Bill 18 came down, there was, what I would consider not enough guidance for anybody. And so it required, one, definitions of what tenure was as far as who's faculty, who's not. It required us to come up with a post-tenure review process. Everyone that was tenured has to go through post-tenure review. Well, for non-faculty, it's impossible. They can't go through a post-tenure review process because they don't have the qualifications and they don't do the kind of work that is required to do a post-tenure review process. Then we had to come up with a process, because we have so many faculty on tenure, a fair process to decide who's going to go in the first group, or how are we going to group everybody. There was no way that administration was going to be able to review every single person that had tenure in 1 year. Impossible, humanly impossible.
Right.
So they got a committee together and they came up with a process, and they divided all of the tenure people at random through a lottery into cohorts.
Mhm.
And those cohorts go till 2020, what? 2030.
2032, I think it was.
So everybody was then, because of the lottery, put in one of those cohorts.
Yes.
And that post-tenure review process happens every 5 years, right? Or 7?
6.
Every 6 years. And so in 6 years, the group that started at the beginning is going to come up again.
Right.
So they only have to do it every 6 years. But that was the only fair way to do it. In that process, we've already had 3 people that said, I'm not doing all that. I'm going to keep teaching, and that's all I want to do. And I'm not doing the post-tenure review. Here's my letter. Leave me alone. I'm a teacher. I don't worry about the rest. So, and you respect that. But because we have to adopt also that due process that gives them the rights to be tenured faculty, then we have to put it in writing. And so we put a different committee together of faculty and administrators on the faculty side to come up with that due process.
And then tenure is not tied to money.
No,
No, just, I want to
there's nothing tied to it.
Yeah, exactly. So it is a lot of work to retain that property right, to be able to be a part of the tenure. But it's not tied to money and it's not tied to anything else. However, if you don't complete your portfolio, then you could lose your job.
Right.
Well,
If you
I'm-
don't,
yes, now,
if you
that's what
don't
she's saying.
relinquish your
Yeah.
tenure rights.
Every
You have
relinquish.
to relinquish your tenure rights
No.
if you don't want to do a
You
portfolio.
relinquish your tenure.
Yeah, just your tenure.
If you-
Yeah.
Yes, but
Use your job.
But if you stay and you don't relinquish, you can lose your job because you don't complete the portfolio.
Right.
Yeah. Judge, you had something?
I am, you know, if you are a tenured individual, you pretty much, that guarantees your position, your employment, all
Not
right?
anymore.
What would actually encourage a tenured employee to actually relinquish? I don't see that there, you know, there's a reason for, or why would that person,
Because they don't,
after having a guaranteed position or employment,
it's not.
then actually decides to refuse or to withdraw or to, or quit, exactly, any observation or
Judge,
remark or
that's a good
comment?
question. Some are close to retirement too.
I'm
So
sorry?
some are close to retirement, so they rather just relinquish. But that's a personal choice. That's a personal choice they make. But under Senate Bill 18, that's why I said on page 1, that is strictly coming from Senate Bill 18. So it is the law for them to undergo a post-tenure process for faculty.
Well, and no longer, Judge, does tenure guarantee you a job for life.
No.
It no longer does.
No, it
There's
does
no
not.
such thing.
No, not
No,
at all.
sir. No.
Not
And so
anymore.
that's
Not
an
anymore.
old, that was an old,
Huh?
that's
yeah,
why, that's why we were all
during the
there.
period of time that.
Yes, sir. That doesn't happen
Okay.
anymore.
Of course, I go back quite a bit.
That changed in the 88th legislative session.
I see.
And so, so there's no guarantee. And because the post-tenure review process is required, people don't want to go through post-tenure review.
I see.
And that process is quite lengthy. And putting together all of the documentation in that post-tenure review, they much rather not.
I see.
And the term property right as a tenure is just a term. It's not even associated. Yeah, yes, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's the property rights, very significant. Yeah, in the law, it's a United States constitutional right.
Mhm, mhm.
If you've got a property right, you have some protections. And the thing is that tenure, right? So if you can look at the definition of tenure in your policy. Let me see if I can find it, because it does help to look at that tenure, definition of tenure. This is in the next policy. It says tenure means the entitlement of a faculty member of an institution of higher education to continue in the faculty member's academic position unless dismissed by the institution for good cause in accordance with the processes and procedures established by the institution. So that basically means you continue being employed by the college unless there's good cause to terminate you.
Right.
And if the administration feels, well, there's good cause to terminate this individual, the process that you follow to get there is the due process procedure and the policy that Dr. Tijerina has been reviewing.
And the second paragraph says the granting of tenure may not be construed to create a property interest in any attribute of a faculty position beyond a faculty member's continuing employment.
So the only property interest they have is to continue their employment. There's no other property interest. So for example, they may claim, oh, I have a property interest in my salary. You know, here's
Right.
what I'm earning today. You can't pay me any less than that. Or, well, there's
Not
not a
anymore.
property interest in the salary. It's a
Mhm.
continuing of the employment.
Correct. Very good. Ms. Vela, did you want to say something?
When I was tenured, I didn't have to do anything. I came to work one day. I came to work one day and they told me I'd been tenured the night before at a board meeting. I didn't do, but I know when I retired, I mean, you had to, it was books, binders that people, but did you have to do anything? I was just told.
That doesn't count
in the
anymore.
olden days.
We'll go on to, thank you, ma'am. We'll go on to number 6, discuss the approval of modifications to Laredo College Board Policy DCB Local Employment Practices Tenure. Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina.
Marisol Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs, So presenting DCB had minor. Again, the clarification that employees who are non-faculty also retain their tenure rights. That's in the first paragraph. And then in the second paragraph, we already had presented this in April, but just to remind you all, the Texas Education Code has a very strict definition of what a faculty is, right? And Senate Bill 18 was basically written for faculty. And so now that there was a distinction, that's what led us to the changes of DMB and DCB. And so on page 1, we also put an eligible faculty member in a tenure track, because at this point, only faculty members on a tenure track are eligible to continue with the tenure process. And I believe we only have 2 more classes to go. I believe if I'm correct, as of 2028 will be the last time in February we'll all present the tenured faculty. Because in 2027, I think in February, I'll present the second to the last. I'll double check, and when I present them in February, I want to say there's not too many that are undergoing the tenure process, right? And then everything else stayed the same for DCB, just the only thing on the last page, on page 6, is that the post-tenure guidelines, now through clarification with legal, the post-tenure process is only applicable to faculty
members. Any questions from the committee members? No. No? We're good?
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and go to the last one.
Well, I hope we're good. We're undergoing another legislative session, so I may be back after a year.
I thought you
Hopefully
were
not,
number
but-
7 also. Thank you for the presentation. Appreciate it. Discuss the approval of modifications to Laredo College Board Policy EGA Local, academic achievement, grading, and credit due to prior learning assessment initiative. Dr. Heriberto Hernandez. Welcome, sir. I was already giving Dr. Marisela the item. She could present too. Sorry.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Ramirez, colleagues, Heriberto Hernandez, Associate Provost, South Campus Administrator. This revision should be quick and easy.
Looks easy.
Yes. Yeah. And actually, it's not so much a change to the policy, which in this case is EGA Local, Academic Achievement, Grading, and Credit. It's more of an addition. And the addition is to accommodate the additional prior learning assessment pathways that have been mentioned to the board before, which include a credit by certification, credit by licensure, internal credit by exam, and occupational experience. Through these prior learning or non-traditional means, students can earn credit through those experiences outside of the classroom. So this policy revision simply adds that language to the existing policy that talks about how the college issues credit. The revision maintains academic integrity by requiring documented evidence of learning through faculty evaluation and approval through established college procedures before credit can be awarded. If approved, the recommendation is to implement a 1 academic year prior learning assessment pilot program or test timeframe, during which during the pilot period, no PLA fees will be charged to students. At the end of this 1-year pilot, we'll assess the difference in revenues foregone from not charging fees in comparison to the monies that were gained by students completing awards through PLA or prior learning. And that pretty much in a nutshell is the recommendation for the policy change. It's just adding the language of the additional prior learning pathways.
Prior learning.
And if I may add, we've been, Dr. Heriberto and his team have been going through the Texas Success Initiative and our pathways development of programs so that this is, and so because of that, this is one of those items so that as we move forward and create new pathways and create new programming and new bachelor's degrees, there is an assessment process for those applying for the program to get credit for prior knowledge.
Mhm.
And kudos to them because they've done an outstanding job with this.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anything else from the rest of the committee? No? Okay.
Yeah.
So it is, what's the time? It is 6:40, and we are adjourned from our Program and Policy Committee. Thank you to all who presented and all of our committee members and others that came to join us today. Thank you.
The next meeting is when? Thursday?
Thursday.
Not tomorrow,
No.
Thursday.
Committee meeting tomorrow?
No, no. You just pick out your.